The Chronari were born from order. Long ago, their homeworld, Selivar Prime, had nearly destroyed itself in a great temporal collapse. Their ancestors had discovered time manipulation technology too powerful for them to control, twisting seasons, aging, even consciousness itself. Civil war erupted when different factions sought to hoard or weaponize time. Cities aged to dust in a single night, mountains crumbled as centuries passed in minutes. Children aged into elders before they took a first breath. Out of this chaos, a solution was forged: the time band, an organic, living neural interface that bound each chronary to a universal clock. Every breath, every heartbeat, every blink synchronized with the grand schedule designed by the Temporal High Synod, an eternal council of rigid elders. The chronary came to believe that time, once an infinite ocean, must be contained into a cage to prevent ruin. Every moment of a chronary's life was planned. Education, career, partner, death. Even grief and joy had their windows, often so short they passed unnoticed. And so they survived, but they did not live. Humans arrived in the year 799,113 by chronary reckoning. We were an unexpected variable, arriving outside any forecast or pre-approved corridor. Their automated defense drones first encircled our ship, the Curiosity Dawn, but when no temporal anomalies were detected, we were allowed to land on a small moon orbiting Selivar Prime. A diplomatic envoy met us. Rows of chronari in uniform gray robes, every footstep synchronized, every blink identical. Their leader, Archsynodist Elviras, addressed us with flat intonation. Humanity, you have exceeded the acceptable variance threshold by 13 minutes. We are obligated to record your arrival as a temporal disruption event. Captain O'Neill tried to apologize, but they barely listened. We offered them knowledge, trade, art, but they rejected all. Anything unscheduled was viewed as an existential threat. In the delegation was Dr. Zara Miles, a temporal physicist known for her reckless genius and a smile that seemed permanently drawn on her face. Unlike her colleagues, she didn't spend the first night in sterile conference rooms analyzing synod schedules. She wandered. She watched. She saw the children, eyes dull, reciting predetermined lines as they walked in circles in recess zones, which were empty marble squares. She saw elders waiting alone in reflection pods, scheduled to meditate on assigned regrets before dying. She saw a whole people drifting through existence like clockwork ghosts. In a spontaneous act, which the synod classified as a severe temporal misconduct, she removed a small red rubber ball from her pack. It was from Earth, once used in her mother's old PE class. On the white marble of the moon's central courtyard, she bounced it. Once. Twice. The echo rang out like thunder among the quiet rhythms. She dropped to her knees to stop the ball as it rolled away, laughing breathlessly. A spontaneous laugh, something the chronari had purged from their language eons ago. A young aide, Tev, assigned to monitor human interactions, stepped forward, his time band flashing red warnings. Tev was a promising schedule integrity auditor, trained since infancy to detect any microsecond deviation in behavior. When Zara offered him the ball, he hesitated. His eyes flicked to the elders, then to his band, then back to the round, bouncing thing. In that one moment, the universe itself seemed to hold its breath. Tev took the ball. His fingers trembled. He squeezed it, feeling the bounce, the soft give of the rubber, the texture no schedule could predict. Then, as if pulled by some ancient instinct buried beneath centuries of programming, he tossed it back. Zara hooped, catching it midair, spinning, falling, and laughing harder. Tev's time band began to vibrate violently, blaring a silent alarm directly into his neural cortex. But instead of dropping the ball, he kicked it away, off into the plaza. A rogue kick, not forecasted, not approved. The Synod Guard drones converged, ready to detain him. But more chronari came forward, drawn by curiosity, by something they had no word for: fun. A second child stepped forward, then another. An elder, trembling, reached out to push the ball back into play, tears rolling down paper-thin cheeks. Within hours, the entire courtyard became a spontaneous game field. No choreography, no regulation, just movement, laughter, collisions. The Synod watched in horror as their perfect schedule dissolved. Automated alarms echoed throughout the marble halls. Emergency chrono assemblies were called. Zara was summoned to trial. As she stood before the Synod, they demanded she explain the purpose of this corruption. She looked into the sea of identical gray faces and said simply, "Time isn't meant to chain you. It's meant to be danced through, laughed through, even wasted a little. That's where life happens. The Synod called her words heresy. They ordered her immediate deportation, alongside a full memory erasure campaign across the entire population. But it was too late. The ripple had spread beyond the courtyard. In the lower sectors, children snuck away to play hide-and-seek among the archival halls. Teenagers gathered to draw silly faces on scheduled tablets. Elders held each other in embrace beyond the sanctioned, emotional contact allotment periods. As more chronery ignored their time bands, the devices began to fail. Some simply deactivated from neglect. Others malfunctioned, unable to process chaotic new patterns. A small resistance, the Unbound, formed, led by Tev. They spread Zara's message. Time is not your master. It's your paintbrush. The Synod's police forces tried to restore order, but as they marched, they found entire plazas covered in hopscotch chalk lines, giggling children refusing to scatter, parents watching with tearful pride. Eventually, the Synod leaders stood alone in their chamber, their own time bands flashing in erratic warning, unable to synchronize with a society no longer willing to submit. The leader, Archsynodist Elvira's, fell to his knees as his band short-circuited. For the first time, he felt an unscheduled emotion, fear. And in that fear, a spark of possibility. Years passed. The Synod fell. The time bands were collected in great heaps and melted down into sculpture gardens, twisted monuments to a past of rigid obedience. The chronery began to transform their society. Entire city squares were converted into open parks and play zones. Lecture halls turned into theaters. Meditation pods became cuddle dens where groups gathered to tell unapproved stories. They no longer kept strict time. They sang when they felt like it, worked when inspiration called, slept in sunbeams, and danced under moons. In honor of Zara's spark, they erected a single statue, not of her face, but of a child mid-laugh, mid-leap, ball in hand. Underneath it read, "Time is not a prison. It is a playground." Humans remained close allies, visiting often, laughing together in festivals that spilled into dawn. Children from both species played together, inventing games no one bothered to record. 50 Earth years after her first visit, an older Zara returned. Her hair, once pink, now streaked with silver, but her eyes burned even brighter. She landed to find the once gray marble cities now pulsing with color and music. Chronery citizens gathered to greet her. Tev, now a grandfather, stepped forward, holding his granddaughter's hand. With tears in his eyes, he whispered,